Okay, welcome back to our program. You're listening and watching Seminole Sideline 365. This is Bruce, aka the Old Man, my co-host KB, and our basketball analyst Sea Dog not with me today. So I couldn't resist. I could not resist putting this program out following the disastrous loss to NC State by our men's basketball team. So this whole program is going to be focused on basketball. And you know I'm focusing on basketball in general because it is not meeting what I believe athletic director Mike Alford has said. We need excellence in all our Florida State sports programs for men and women. Now, unfortunately, and if you listen to my last show on men's basketball, you know I was very, very hard on Coach Leonard Hamilton. And he is not going to, unfortunately, escape any of my strong tones and words and emotions in today's program. Coach Hamilton needs to go. There's no other way for me to say this. Coach Hamilton is a great character, a great man. He's done great things here at Florida State. Now, when I say great, he's really done some things historically here in his 20 plus years of duty here and 400 and some wins here at Florida State. He's done a fantastic job in putting this basketball program back on the map. However, it has slipped from the radar screen and is really now a total joke in terms of what's going on with the program. Now, you're saying, well, you're throwing out a lot of generalizations. Well, some of them are going to be generalizations. There are other things that I believe that show there is a significant decline in the team's management, coaching, recruiting, and obviously in its win totals moving forward. And if we expect mediocrity, if we expect average, if we expect below average, then you've got exactly what you need. You've got an aging coach. Coach Hamilton is 75 years old. You've got a coaching staff that hasn't changed very much over the last 20 years. He has basically his same top assistants. And you've got a coaching staff that doesn't understand what the current situation is in recruiting and the use of the portal. And I will show you proof today where Coach Hamilton admits this in a post-game press conference. And I will set that up for you. But if you haven't seen the post-game press conference after the NC State slaughter, where we lost by like 30 points, you should go and watch that on YouTube after this program. So for those reasons, we have to move this program in a different direction. And I have tweeted about this. I've sent tweets to Mike Alford about this. And I know Mike Alford is focused on it. He is just trying to figure out, how do you take the gentleman that Leonard Hamilton is and the great personality that he is off the platform in a dignified manner. Now, the clock is ticking, and you can write that down. Coach Leonard Hamilton has this season and potentially next season, because he's under contract, because they gave him a contract extension through the 2024 season. They will likely give him that season to see if he can make some sort of dramatic and magical turnaround. That is going to be difficult. So, I've also been told, you don't give any numbers, you don't throw any data out. Well, I'll give you some. I'll give you some data. And some of it's good and some of it's not so good. Okay? Florida State's been playing basketball for 67 years. 67 years. And our overall win and loss percentage is 59%. 59%. And Coach Hamilton's winning percentage since his tour of duty here at Florida State is in the 60% range. Okay. And I'm not going to go back and look at that exact stat. You can call me on it if you want. But he hovers above what the historical average has been. So what you have is an average basketball program. And if that's what is good enough for this university, then we should admit that. But that's not what Mike Alford has said when he came in and he talked about excellence. This is not an excellent program at this point. Let's see. We've been to the Big Dance March Madness NCAA tournament 18 years. Our record is 23-18 in that tournament. We have one Final Four, and I remember that distinctly. Some of you probably weren't even around in 1972 when the Seminoles went to the Final Four, and they played in the championship game against UCLA, who had a very talented team, and we basically didn't have any major superstars. That was our only appearance in the Final Four, 1972. This team, in the last several years, is in a downward trajectory. First of all, we are now 8-16 on the season. Our last game was a squeaker over Louisville, and we won by, I think it was 3 points. Okay, 3 points. And Louisville is horrible. I think they're in last place in the ACC, and they have won like 3 or 4 games. So let's not count that as a major victory. We squeaked by on that one. So we squeaked by Louisville, and we got blown out by NC State. And then we got blown out by Miami at home in our own gym. And those games weren't in order like that, but the last 2 were. So we're 8-16. We're at 33% win-loss. That's overall. Now, I will give Coach some credit. We're 6-7 now in the ACC. 6-7. I don't know how he's doing it. I don't know how he did that, to be honest with you. Now, we can make all kind of excuses about, well, Bubba Miller had to sit out 17 games, which was a shame. There's no doubt about that. We've had injuries to a few guys that will not be able to play the whole season. We're young, we're inexperienced. We had some guys leave that we didn't expect to leave. We can have all these types of excuses, but the record speaks for itself. So the 21-22 season, we were 17-14, 10-10 in the conference. In 2021, we're 18-7, but 11-4 in the conference. Notable, that's it. That was a good year. 2019, we were 26-5 overall, 16-4 in the conference. So the 2019 to 2021 seasons were very good seasons for Coach Hamilton and the Florida State Seminoles basketball team. The years before that, he had overall 26 wins, 29 wins, 23 wins, 26 wins, 20 wins. He compiled a whole bunch of really good seasons. However, his ability to take this team deep into March Madness with consecutive Sweet 16 appearances has not been there. If we're satisfied with that, then we need to say so. Then Coach that athletic director Alford needs to tell the fan base, this is what we expect, this is what we're going to fund, and we don't expect any more. Then you have the coach that you should. But he's 75 years old. The coaching search committee should be getting heated up to start looking for a younger coach, because there's no doubt that this is a recruiting issue, not only for high school recruits, the top high school recruits in this country, but in the portal as well. Even though portal guys will come for the right deals and for the right playing time, because most of those guys are one and done and are looking to try to get to the next level of professional basketball. Now, let's turn our attention to what really irritated me. And that is this post-game press conference that Coach Hamilton had after the NC State loss, huge loss, a blowout at NC State. And it will go down as one of the worst losses that Coach Hamilton's ever had in his career. And we can't just look beyond that. It is a flag that we must deal with. All right? So let's listen. Let's listen for a moment of what Coach Hamilton, I'm going to play a minute of this, and then we're going to discuss it.
The practice this year, we lost both of the games.
In your experience, has any team brought in so many players like NC State has? How common is that to have that type of success?
Well, to be very honest with you, about every team we played this year has done the same thing that NC State did. I mean, in their own way, even the mid-major teams, I'm playing against 3 graduate students. Now, I played against someone who started 4 guys out of the portal. This is the new wave of college basketball, and it's really affecting the attention that high school guys are getting there, because people just waiting. You have to make a decision. Do you want an 18-year-old? Do you want a 22 or 23-year-old? And it's a senior or graduate student, and maybe.
Now, it's very important, the next segment that's coming up. He's already leading down the path of making some excuses about why and how this team is functioning today. So pay attention to the next couple of minutes.
When the COVID plays itself out, maybe it might settle a little bit, but I don't see it.
When COVID plays itself out, Coach Hamilton, COVID is gone, okay? The COVID situation, as it affected a couple of the basketball seasons at its height, are gone, all right? So COVID cannot longer be an excuse for recruiting.
It changes because guys are not signing kids out of high school in November, waiting to see what's available in spring. And last year there were, I think, close to 2,000 kids that put their name in the portal, and 450 of them didn't get scholarships at all. So it's this whole phase that we're going through right now is a little challenging, not only for the players but for the teams they expect players to come back. I lost players this year.
Okay, this is important because he is now talking about reasons why this team has significantly collapsed. And I have to question whether or not the team still buys into the coaching staff. He's now leading into reasons why kids left the team, and he didn't expect that to happen.
Because they decided to go on and, try to go after their futures, which I have no problem with. But when you don't know, sometimes you have to be prepared for that. And I had 2 ACLs.
How do you not know? How do you not know that kids will probably leave? You have to, as a coaching staff, be communicating constantly with your players about their futures, because you know that their future is not here at Florida State. This is a developing ground for the next level to which they desire, which is professional basketball, whether it's the NBA or overseas. He must be tuned into those kids. And at this point, I'm not sure Coach Hamilton is.
That's 5 guys that I picked up. That's not on my team. But you have to prepare for that. And most of the teams that we played against this year have had influx of transfers. And I don't see anything wrong with it. That's what we have to adjust to.
Now listen to what he says about the portal and the teams he's facing. This is an important part of this message.
I just didn't get the memo. I had to learn the hard way, but I got it now.
Having spent
I hope that you heard what Coach Hamilton said. I didn't get the memo. I didn't get the memo. Now, if this was Coach Norvell and we were getting blown out by Miami and we were getting blown out by any team that we'd face, people would be irate if the coach said, I didn't get the memo, but I got it now. I got it now. He's telling you that he is not in touch with the current way you must recruit and use the portal. He said he's facing almost every team this year, teams that are starting guys that they got out of the portal, graduate students, underclassmen that they've gotten. They've rebuilt their teams, but Coach Hamilton has not done that. There are a lot of different quotes from Coach Hamilton that I think are significant. I think are very significant. And one of those quotes coming out of this interview is just about everybody who we've played this season had several players, even 4 starters that came out of the portal. I miscalculated some things. These are important admissions of guilt on his part, on his coaching staff's part, for doing an inadequate job of bringing the right kids into this program. And I'm going to lay some of this blame on athletic director Mike Alford for I haven't seen anything about NIL deals for the men's basketball team. I don't see much media attention being spun out by the FSU Media Center on basketball. I just don't see it. I don't see Coach Hamilton, his coaches on the road, getting media attention at all, like we see in football. Oh, yeah, okay, Bruce, the old man, you're an old man, you don't get it. Football's the only thing here. I get all that. But FSU men's basketball is also a sport here that needs excellence. it has to come, and it's going to come because the clock is ticking on this. The clock is ticking on this. It's just a matter of time. And I think it'll be through at the end of the 2024 season. There's no way that Coach Hamilton's contract will be extended after that season. No way, unless he goes deep into the NCAA tournament and wins the ACC tournament, which is unlikely. And with that, that's what I've got to say on this. I'm going to stay on this story. This is a big story. It's only a big story with the FSU media if we're in the top 10 or if we're in the bottom 10. And right now, even the FSU media doesn't care about this story. Seminole Sideline 365, we've been pushing this story. I've been pushing this story, and I will continue to push this story because it's important to Florida State University and to you as Seminole fans. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for hanging in here. I know you love football, but we also got to be caring about basketball. This is Bruce, a.k.a. the Old Man for Seminole Sideline 365. Please hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, drop comments. You think I'm wrong? You have a comment about this situation, drop the comments below. This is a pre-recorded session, and it'll go out soon. Bye-bye.